Welcome. My name is Dr. Karen May, and this is Empower Hour, and we are going to talk about the year-long effects of the winter blues with having neuropathy. And this is great information that I wanted to share with you. I always try to give an application step at the end of this too, to help you make some educated decisions to move forward, but always consult with your physician as well. So let's get started. What I realized is I was trying to write about the winter blues, and what I realized is with neuropathy, that's year long. And this is a time of year that we take stock. So usually December, January, we're trying to take stock where we're at. What changes do we want to make? How can we, the stinking resolutions that no one sticks to, and we're even into the first week in January, people have shot them out the window. So there's a lot of really good thoughts behind them. But when you have neuropathy, it's a day-to-day process of, are you physically going to be capable of walking more? Or are you mentally, because the pain is so intense that you're sleeping and your body shuts you down? So creating unrealistic goals when you have neuropathy sends you down a true rabbit hole. And many well-intentioned people in our lives, our family, our friends, just tell us to pick it up by the bootstraps. Just keep going. And it's very difficult because many times, if you are in the earlier stages of neuropathy, or in my condition, what I had was called Parsonage-Turner syndrome, you can't see it. Unless it doesn't show up. And if you're far enough along that maybe you're using a cane or a walker or have an amputation, maybe, but otherwise, many times you're just getting through your day because that's what you have to do. So well-intentioned people say, hey, just do this, just do this. And maybe you have pain. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have numbness. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have that dead feeling. Everyone's symptoms with neuropathy are different. Everyone's journey with neuropathy is different. And so regardless of where your symptoms are, they rob us of a quality of life. And it robs us of the joy that we can find in our daily lives with such little things, for buttoning a shirt, walking to the mailbox, playing with our grandchildren, sleeping, either getting to sleep or staying asleep, even just walking around your house and not feeling like you're going to fall over. It robs us of our joy because we're having to put so much intention and time and thought into what we are doing in order to get through our day with having pain, numbness, tingling, balance issues, whatever your symptoms are. So it really hit me hard in December as I was in a meeting with my husband, and he was talking to our other team members about the holidays and how impactful it was, not just to me in 2017 when I was in the thick of not having the use of my arm and just starting on my journey of figuring out how to heal and repair it. And he said, Karen was present when we went to family outings for the holidays, something that I truly love. I truly love spending time with family. But I wasn't there. There was no joy, and it affected my family. It affected my family because I didn't want to talk about it. I had social anxiety because it was just easier not to go or to not stay long. And when he was talking about how it affected him, not just that he couldn't stay as long, but also that he didn't see me enjoying myself and how that impacted my family. It was huge. It truly made me cry, just tear up when he was talking about it, because neuropathy doesn't just affect you. It affects your entire family, whoever lives in your household, your family that you go on vacation with or holiday with when the season allows it. And that is truly and hugely impactful. And so because maybe you're a support person sitting here, and you're a spouse, you're a kid who just wants their family or their loved one to not have the harmful effects of neuropathy. That's what you really want. And yet you don't know what to do. So well-intentioned, you just keep throwing stuff at them. I'm telling you, got to step back a little bit. So when I was preparing for this, I went back to my undergrad college days in the early 90s at Oakland University, and I took a class that was like personal success and mind-body medicine, and it really sparked into me about the body's ability to heal and repair itself. But there was this life event survey that we took, and I'm going to read a little bit here because I want to get it correct. It said the following steps in the systematic stress management is the identification of personal stressors. So personal stressors, those are good and they're bad. And so it can be a major life event, a situation, an object, or a thought that will cause a stress response to occur in the body. So you fast forward and there's 43 different life events on there, good and bad. So different score based upon the life event. When you add them all up, if you have a score of over 300, you have a strong risk of developing a physical illness in the next 12 months. So this is just life happening around us, and it can, good and bad, that can set us up for physical stressors. And so then that's everyday life. This is not dramatic. Some are dramatic life events, but some of them are simple life events that really add up. So we're going to make certain you get an opportunity to connect to this, but you can see the potential risk of your body developing a chronic illness in the next 12 months. But if you have neuropathy, you already got it. And so you can go back and you can look to see how all of this adds up into you. And so I'm a half glass full person. I always have been. Even in the darkest times, my faith is in Jesus. So it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. So understand that there's other stuff out there, how we view our day-to-day life. It's called the positive valuation of a life scale. And so it gave statements like, I feel hopeful, I have a strong will to live, life has meaning to me, I meet the goals I set for myself, I can think of many ways to get things in life that are most important to me. And you give a scale of 5, you strongly agree, anywhere between 5 and down to 1 is you strongly disagree. And so this was published in the study of the International Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry. So these are people who are looking at older individuals and what happens and how they perceive where they're at right now in life. How are they perceiving what is going around them, and do they feel like they can do something in order to help? So, and if you notice, it's not evaluation of life, it's valuation of life. Where do you value it? So this was that was 1999 is when that came out, but in 2018 it was used in that geriatric psychiatry journal, and it was looking at specifically African American older population and where did they value themselves, and then having 10 sessions that were around education, referral, care management, stress reduction, and behavioral activation. Getting up and doing something. And so each of those components have been shown to help to treat depression. So we have life events that happen, and then we have how we value life when we're going through it. So when you're in the winter blues of neuropathy on a year-long basis, it gets hopeless. And it can be very desperate, and that leads to fear, and it leaves you to not wanting to do much. And then again, there's that value you're placing on your life. It's a struggle. So what does it mean? So we know that after those 10 sessions that people valued themselves better and had a better outlook because they felt like they had something to do to help themselves, even if their physical changes didn't happen, but mentally it made a difference. So what do? Is start making small changes. Look for guidance, with guidance and mentorship. It can lead to enhancing the being present in life instead of focusing on what used to be and thinking of what you can't do. It's being present in this immediate moment. So, and regardless of the circumstances, because it doesn't mean that you're going to be 100% better. It doesn't mean that life is going to be perfect, but it means there's a direct link between what you value your life and your mood. Direct correlation. So wrapping this up is when you are going through neuropathy, your journey is your journey. And no one can negate where you're at in your journey. It is, but it's also, it's just because you may perceive that others have it worse than you because you've seen somebody who has an amputation and you're not that far. It doesn't mean that you get to negate where you are now, because we will justify where we're at to cover things up as well. And so you have to remember that where you're at is worse for you. You can't do what you want to do. It's your quality of life and the impact it has on those around you as well. And giving you an example of this is, I remember I was about 6 weeks in, this would be June of 2017, 6 weeks into my surgery, I had a meeting with a woman. She happened to be a lawyer who that I was in a group, or trying to be in a group with, and trying to get to know these people. And one of her family members had severe Alzheimer's, and so hers was elder care law is what she was focusing on. And so she had just come out of, I think one of her parents had just died, and just the stress and going through that. And so I remember just putting on a happy face. Internally, I'm dying. I can't move my hand. I mean, it's just terrible. And I'm like, oh no, I'm doing good. And she knew what happened because I knew her prior to that meeting and prior to my surgery. And she's like, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to grieve what you lost. It's okay to go through that process and I said, oh, but so many people have it worse than I do. And that's where she gave me permission to say, yeah, but it's bad for me and it's bad for my situation. So she gave me that permission to grieve. I had never given myself that because I just wanted, I just never did. And what I didn't realize is I did have to grieve. I had to grieve for me, it was an instant loss. Mine was very active to whammo, done. And not all neuropathy is like that. Sometimes it's slow, but we can grieve over the loss of what we couldn't do and what used to bring us joy because our body won't do it. But she gave me permission to feel again. To feel like this sucked. And if my mom watches that, she's going to hate that word, and I don't use it lightly, but it was terrible. But there's 3 things to consider, especially when you have neuropathy and you're going through this season of what seems like forever long winter blues. It's okay to grieve, and it's okay to be frustrated for what you can't do now. It's okay to live in the grief, but not forever. So allow yourself permission to embrace what has gone on, where you are at. Pause a bit, reflect on it, and why it frustrates you, and gather your thoughts. And I tell you, sometimes professional help is necessary, and doesn't mean you're crazy. Maybe it's meaning talking to a pastor or a trusted friend, but talking to someone who can give you a different perspective. Not just pull it up by the bootstraps, but help you to think about it. And that's what I tell people if you're seeking counseling or mental health help. It's not because you're crazy. It's because you're stuck in a loop and a pattern and you can't get out of it. And so it takes somebody else to just interject a couple other thoughts to make you think about it in a different way because you can't get out of it yourself. So mental health help is legit. And if you need it, get it and talk to your physician about it. Or like I said, many pastors are trained in counseling. Not all, but many of them are. But watch going to your friends and your family because they love you. And it's not as well received. You need a neutral party who doesn't love you. The other thing is don't take, there is nothing that can be done for an answer. I know that was my journey. All the doctors that I went to throughout my journey, and neuropathy is not something you have to live with. And I'm excited because I'm going to be sitting down with a medical doctor here shortly. I'm not certain when we'll air it, but talking about the traditional medical approaches and then comparing it to what we've designed to help heal myself and people and to get them on their journey of health instead of destruction. And so you deserve to enjoy the basic necessities of life. But the problem is when we get in front of people, if they only have a pill or a procedure, that's it. and you walk out of their office and they're on to the next person. It doesn't mean they're a bad doctor or a bad PA or nurse practitioner. It just means that they don't have the tools in the toolbox. But it's your life. Don't settle for that. Keep asking questions. Keep educating yourself. Keep trying at even a small level. It can get frustrating, but don't give up. And the next part I'm about to say is probably the hardest. Is the only person who can make that change, any change, doesn't matter what it is. And this is regardless if you have neuropathy or not, is you. You have to want to make a change. You have to draw the line in the sand and say, that's it. I'm not doing it anymore. And that's not always easy to do because we get stuck into, I just can't, and we get stuck into that depression. So I was talking with a family member who had severe depression, and she gave me some very sage and wise advice. When she was going through it, her psychologist said, you are the only one who can get out of bed every day. You are the only one who can put effort forth. Nobody can do it for you. And she took that advice. And for her, it was just getting up for 5 minutes and then sitting back down again. But it took that person saying, it's only you. So when we get into neuropathy, there's a lot of things out there, but really what it comes down to is you and your willingness to apply them. So make a choice to choose you. Life's not over. If you wake up and you're breathing, you got a lot of life left. Doesn't matter if you're here for an hour, for a day, for 20, 30 years, 40 years, whatever, however long you're designed to be here, quality of life is super important. That's finding that joy. It's not living in that year-long winter blues when you have neuropathy. So choose to invest into you. You get to choose how you spend every second of your day. Choose you. Is the series on Netflix that you're binge watching for 5 days, is that investing into you? Try to pick a book, pick something that is not connected over that. Call somebody and find out how they're doing and ask them how their holidays were or something like that, instead of looking inward to you. The best thing you can do is give of a little bit of time, a little bit of your talent, if you have capabilities still, and maybe it's your treasure. Sometimes, we're being asked to give money too. But what if you wrote down at the end of the day the 5 things that you were grateful for or thankful for? I saw, I don't know if it was a meme or a quote, so I can't give credit to it, and I apologize that I can't, but it said, what if you woke up in the morning, and you only had the things that you were thankful for? That's it. Would we have enough? What are we thankful for? Having gratitude and giving to others helps us get through those winter blues. So just because you chose the next step now, you have to continually choose to fight for you in the future. It doesn't mean this journey is going to be easy. And there's no magic pill to make neuropathy go away at all. There's no medication that's going to make it go away. It's truly looking at you as a whole person and looking at your body's ability to heal and repair, and then the capabilities of what can you do to help on the nerve side. So that's why looking at you as a whole is very important. But the way you look at your journey has a huge impact. How you value your life has a big impact on what you're going to do and how you're going to move forward. And it truly, those positive thoughts, even if there's a few of them, help your body to heal and repair. And we know that based upon the stress that we go through. So don't make promises that you can't keep. Just pick one thing and start small. Don't pick the world and think that you're going to go for it. That's what I tell people. If you haven't run a marathon yet and don't think you're going to do it tomorrow, that's the same thing with neuropathy. Pick something small and challenge yourself. I have plenty of other Empower Hours that talk about how to work on balance, how to work on leg strength, how to work on nutrition. So hop in a few of those too if you're making a journey with it. But if not, just know that we're here for you and just give us a call. Thank you so much.